a big welcome to everyone for webinar number 3 of the Spring into Discovery Space webinar series. I'm Michael Gregory from the European Physical Society, and I'm joined by guest hosts Carlos Santos from NUCLIO and Luisa from NUCLIO. Do each of you want to say hi briefly?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the...
Hi, welcome.
And we'll
Good
be
afternoon,
hearing,
everyone.
We'll be hearing more from them briefly. I'm just going to walk you through to the session. So for those of you who haven't joined, this is a series of webinars taking place in April and May. Each one of the webinars focuses on a different aspect of Discovery Space, most of them on a different learning scenario. Today will be the Mission to Mars scenario written by Carlos, which is why he's the one going to talk you through it. If you're not yet familiar with Discovery Space, we will take some time near the end to go over how to connect to the Discovery Space platform, how to create a teacher account. This is also already covered in webinar 1 in more detail, so we'll share the link to the recording for that as well. As we're starting off, please feel free to say hi in the chat, and especially if you feel like mentioning where you're joining from. It's always exciting for us to see all the different parts of the world we have people joining from. And just before turning things over to Carlos, to mention while he's presenting, if you have questions, feel free to add them into the chat. Luisa and I will be having a look at it and deciding if there's things we want to interrupt Carlos for, or if it's best to wait till the end. And we will take time at the end for questions as well. With all that being said, I think it's time to turn things over to Carlos. So thanks again for joining us, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Okay, so it's my turn now. I have to apologize. My voice is a bit rough because I have a bit of a cold. But let's see how it goes. I will start by sharing the web page from this space where all the scenarios are. I'm starting in the particular setting. I'm starting by showing the analytics of the scenario after the students complete it. So while they are going, I'm starting with this because this page usually is a bit slow to load. So instead of having you waiting for it at the end, I just preloaded it so I can show it here. So every time, we will get to the details in a bit, but every time someone takes the scenario, everything they do is recorded by the system analytics, okay? And so you have information, for instance, like in this graphic, where you can see that for instance, people that in the first phase are high performers, then some of them continue to be high performers, some of them descend into medium, moderate performers, and some of them go down. And you see that when you look at this thing, you see that from phase to phase, students can go around and perform better or worse during the scenario. And of course, some of these things have also to do with like say the difficulty of the questions that are asked, and some of them actually are probably just clickers. I mean, just students that just click randomly and then they mess things up. We don't want that. So, but you see here there are lots of information about this, about what the students did. The scenarios are built around inquiry-based learning. So we have 5 phases for the scenario. And for instance, here you see how they did for each of the scenarios. Probably don't look at this numbers. They don't necessarily go forward, in the sense that there are not 500 people. It's just the number of questions in each of the phases is different. So the total, this is the total correct and incorrect answers. So it's something that you don't, it doesn't carry on, okay? And so after you get access, after you get an account, you can go and see the analytics of the scenarios that you will run. And actually you can even, if you prepare, and I think Luisa will show you at the end, you can prepare the scenario for a specific group of students, and then you can analyze that group. Here I'm just looking at all the people that took this scenario ever, but if I had set up a group, it would show up here, and I could analyze the data for that specific group. Okay, so it's something that you will have a chance to play around with after you get your account. But for instance, I'll go back to these paths that are talked about here. And basically, you can see you have the paths that the students took while doing the scenario, and I will show it right away. So when you log in, you are here. You'll get something like this. You can go to the authoring tool to check all the scenarios and change them and make new ones if you wish. Let me remind you that there is this documentation and tutorials here. So it's something that before you start to try and make your own scenarios, you should go here and have a look at all the documents that are there. And so I am going to check out the mission to Mars. Well, first of all, let me correct Michael. I'm not the author of this scenario. This was a group effort. There was a team in NUCLIO that collaborated to get to this final version, and I'm just one of them. Okay, so you see here the 5 phases. So engagement. And there are several slides, let's say, hypothesis, and this is much larger in terms of number of slides. Experiment, okay. So each of these things is a screen that the students will be able to see or not, depending on the paths that they will take. Data analysis and reflection. Okay, the thing about the paths that I was talking about, it's like this. You have a visual representation down here of the way things are organized in terms of the slides or the screens where you get information, where you can interact, you can answer questions. And whenever you have a question in your path, you can get diverted to different parts of the scenario. Okay, so usually the logic here is like if people get the question wrong, they will probably get some guidance. If people get it right at first, they probably will just go down and get not to see lots of things because they already understood the the concept so they answer correctly, and in principle they know what they are doing. Okay, so in every phase of the scenario, you have these kinds of things. Usually, low and moderate performers get longer paths because they have to be tutored to carry on. This doesn't mean that they will all get to the end, in the sense that you never see them go back or get stuck, in the sense that there's from here you don't go back up, you go always down. Okay, so you are always progressing. The way you progress through the scenario is different depending on how you answer the questions that show up. Okay, so you see here all the structure of this scenario. Okay, this being inquiry-based learning scenario, it's kind of a scientific method, and you know, or probably know, that in the scientific method, you most of the time when you get things wrong, you are able to go back to the start, make a new hypothesis, and continue your path. So it's the real scientific method is a bit more circular, in the sense that you can go back and redo stuff. This is not done here, and I think mainly it's because of the analytics. It would be extremely complicated to get information that we get from the analytics, so the graphs that I've shown you first, if we had people going back and forth along through the paths, and so it's always forward. It takes longer or not so long to get there. So if I can, well, actually, I think I'll go and look at the student view. So this is the authoring tool part of the scenario, where you see and can edit, add, and remove, and do whatever. But the students will see something where it is. I think I've gone through mission to Mars. Okay, and the students will see something like this without the menu on the side. It will be something like this. You can get to start the scenario. You have actually, let me go to the restart, because that was a slide further down the logic. Okay, so you have basically on the left some text, some video, some information that you need in principle to read in order to get the knowledge that will allow you to answer the questions that will show up. You have at the right hand side the Plato, the agent that will guide you and that will interact with the students regarding the questions and things that you will do. For instance, here we are starting, so we have to create curiosity from them, and we have a bit of text and a video to get them started. To continue, I just have to interact with Plato here, and so this is already a question: what defines a region of interest in Mars, in a Mars exploration zone? And you have the possibilities here provided by Plato. I'm going to just select one at random. and it will go on. And actually, this time they went. It was probably the right answer because I get sent to a new question. Usually, when you get it wrong, or more or less, you are directed to something that will try to clarify the question for you. So in this case, let me say something that is interesting. When you go to the listing of scenarios, you see scenarios in Greek, in Portuguese, in English, and so on. Actually, you can, if you use a browser that allows you to translate. For instance, I'm using Chrome. I can go here and say translate to Portuguese. It will translate everything for you in the scenario. So everything will be translated. It's an automatic translation. So the text might not be perfect, but usually it's good enough for students to understand what's going on. Okay. From my experience, the Plato thing is sometimes takes a bit more to translate. You have to kind of interact with it for it to translate the things. Apparently, it's calling me a liar right now. Okay, so
and just to jump in, sometimes when I've had problems with that, reloading the page has helped, but then it might get you out of the learning scenario and you go back a couple of steps. But as like a last resort, that's what sometimes I've done.
Yeah. So I'm removing the translation, going back to so I just answer randomly and I get to some guidance. So probably my reply was not perfect, and I get to see some other information and another video, and then some more information. And actually, this is I don't know if I keep clicking, I will get there. But you can embed in these scenarios videos like you've seen here, but you actually can set up links for outside sources. And for instance, in this scenario, at some point they have to check out physical information about Mars, like if there is any liquid water below the surface. There is a tool from NASA that will allow them to check in different points of Mars what is the quantity of water expected at a depth of 5 meters or something like that. So you get to in this case you get to use tools, and for instance there are lots of tools in at least for physics, the PhET repository. There are this online simulators that you can embed inside, so they can while doing the scenario, they can really make experiments in the sense that they can get a simulation and they can change parameters, for instance, and see what happens. Or in the case of this scenario, there's nothing like that, but there is sorry, there is, like I said, a link for a NASA outside a NASA tool that will allows them to analyze data, real data from NASA, and from, in this case, for Mars. So it's like this. I don't know if the screen change. It's the Mars water resource maps. Can you see it?
Yes,
Yes.
we see it well.
Okay, so just from here you click a link and you get to some place where you can get information. So okay, so you see you have at depth or from 1 to 5 there is 0.4 to whatever the unit of water in Mars. So and basically this is you probably will say that this is a scenario that is not something that relates immediately to the curriculum, but I think you can squeeze in some content from the curriculum. I don't know. Some of the questions that we already went through was about life on Mars. What's needed for that? Probably biology teachers will get something to say about that and be able to develop a little bit more what's going on. So I'm just getting through this and okay. So now they are already. You see that there is at no point they know if they are getting the questions right or wrong. They are just directed to different parts of the scenario, depending on the knowledge that they have shown, and so they actually get to the end of the scenario and might not know if they did it correctly or not. And this is something that might be a problem because some of them tend to be what I called before clickers. They just do like I'm doing now. I just click, 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 click. I don't even look at the text and at the answers. I just click, 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 and I will get to the end eventually, taking longer or shorter path, but I will get to the end. So it's usually, from our experience, it's not, and for this scenario and all the others, it's not usually it's not usually a good idea to just let the students go through this by themselves or even at home or something like that, because then you will get clickers, so people that will not stay long and just click, 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 and end the scenario in 5 minutes or less. Okay. So, but actually, you can in the analytics you can kind of see what's going on, and if you, what I've shown you is the statistics, the analytics for all the students that did this scenario. But like I said in the beginning, if you create a group for your students, you can, with a smaller group, you can see exactly what's going on. If there are people that at the first slide, there is a video that takes 5 minutes. If they are there for 5 seconds, they didn't see the video. The information is in the video, so they just clicked away and went forward. So it might be it might make sense to tell them, okay, we know what you're doing, and actually we don't, because all of this is anonymized, so they are just numbers in the spreadsheet, and we don't have any way of matching real students to the results they have. But okay, so I think it's I'm taking a long time to get to the end because I'm just clicking away. I'm starting to get to the end. But you see the logic. Usually for this scenario, it's a bit of a nice picture, a nice video, and some questions that you have to answer to get away. For instance, I've seen this text before at the start, or almost at the start. So I answered something terribly wrong because I'm getting the same slide. It's not the same, but it's a copy of a slide that was already shown up in the first stages of the scenario. So although, like I said, it's not a good idea for getting loops, you can kind of do it by just copying slides that were shown previously again, if they just get completely wrong. I don't know, any questions? I think I'm basically, I've shown you what well, actually, let me show you something else. Let me show you exactly how you, okay, for instance, exploration zone, update activity, just to, you have a look of how it is in the back office. It's just a box where you can just write whatever you want. You have some buttons to allow, that allows you to format things. You have you can insert images, links for outside things, media, so videos or something else. So it's a kind of a nice HTML editor that if you have some experience with these kinds of things, you'll be at home running this. And there are some other things that you can define, namely what happens afterwards. So after they see this slide, they will all go to this next slide. Okay, and if I go to if I go to a question, there are more things up here. You have the same kind of of content, but then you have the question itself and where people are sent to if they get if they are classified as high performers, mid performers, or low performers. We don't like this nomenclature a lot, but it's what's here now. Okay, and so you can edit the answers. Okay, so you can actually also it's here that you say where they go next, and you set a score, so that will define if they are high, medium, or low performers. Okay. So I don't know if there are any questions, if Luisa or someone else wants to add something.
Maybe
Basically,
sorry, Carlos, I'll just try to, I was going to write it, but I think it's easier if you explain. Maria Del Mar has asked if this tool, which means this scenario, will provide as educators to work with students on setting up a mission to Mars. Can you maybe explain a little bit more about this specific scenario, what students learn or what they have to think about?
Like I said, the question is it's not immediately you can see, you can't see immediately how this connects with curriculum, for instance. But the idea behind this mission to Mars scenario is to let them know some of the tasks that people have already taken to allow successful mission to Mars. There are things I didn't go, like I said, I just went through the texts and the answers very quickly. But things like, okay, so if I want to go to Mars, I need to find a place to land. Okay, and it can't be anywhere I like, because, for instance, if there are lots of small rocks, it might be dangerous for the lander. Or if it's too steep, so it's in the hillside, you don't have a plane area to land. And it's not only that, because you also need to think that you have to land close to some resources that you can use. For instance, they will learn that it's basically, it won't be possible to colonize Mars thinking that every other week there's a rocket from Earth taking food and water and supplies for people there. So the idea is to explore with the real data from NASA, for instance, the conditions that are needed to select a good spot for landing, for establishing a base, and for this space to basically become independent from Earth as soon as possible. And this means that there should be resources like water close by that will allow it to get by themselves, basically. So the idea is, well, one colleague of us usually says that probably the first Mars inhabitants are already in your classrooms right now. And that's probably correct. And the thing that this scenario shows is all the work that and all the thought that is behind this effort to get humans to Mars, and to get humans to Mars to stay in Mars. And so it's well, I think it's an interesting point of view, and probably they before taking the scenario, they most surely or wouldn't have think about it and know all the small details that you have to consider before you take this step.
Maybe just because there are more questions that have to do with this, related with what you were saying. Very quickly, Agnieszka had asked if you can only use it during physics lessons or on other lessons too. Of course, this is quite interdisciplinary, so you can use it in whichever subject you feel like you want to, because it really touches different subjects. The main thing of this activity is that it develops the problem-solving competences of the students. I don't think, Carlos, you said for what age this was, right?
I think it's marked for 14,
14
because
to 18.
some of the texts are a bit long and eventually complicated for younger kids.
Yeah, we asked a teacher that has already implemented with her students, and she said that from 14, 15 to 18 years old it should be quite okay. It's exactly what we had over here, so that's nice. The other thing that was asked was how long this would take for a group of 4 to 6 students to produce a viable mission. I think we have to explain that this is a scenario that you can have the students working together, but you can have them also, each one in each computer. This will have a path for each student that is going through the scenario. So it's not quite like they're going to prepare a viable mission. They will reflect and solve some problems to understand what is needed to prepare a mission. And
actually, you can have this scenario as a starting point to other things.
Exactly.
Imagine that they will go through the scenario, they will get to know all the problems that are involved, and eventually the school or the class or whatever might decide to, okay, let's see what we can do. For instance, how would we design the space habitat? What's the problems with the habitat? It needs to be sheltered from micrometeorites, for instance. It needs to be, since there's no atmosphere, it needs to be pressurized, and all the problems that this involves. How do we grow food there? So you can if you wish, you can have this as a starting point for eventually all school project where I don't know, the tech shop will produce some tools or something like that, or if you have a 3D printer, you can produce models of an habitat, for instance, or the biology teacher can contribute to talk about life outside. How do you grow crops in Mars? What are the possibilities, hydroponics or whatever you want? Eventually, if you want to go very, very far into the future, you can even start talking about terraforming Mars, in the sense that transforming the climate of Mars so that it's better suited for mankind to live there. So it's like I said, sorry, like I said, it's not something that you can just, I think, just get and say, okay, this is here in my curriculum, this is perfect for this spot, but it's something that you can talk of other things related to it, and eventually transforming this this as a starting point to something larger that will involve more teachers from different areas, and eventually more students, and eventually even the whole school. Actually, a lot of 10 or 15 years ago, we have a project in the school in Portugal. It has nothing to do with the scenario. This was just made, but they were the Martians. The whole school got behind the idea of Mars. What's in Mars? Why it's interesting? Why do we want to go there? What are the difficulties? And so they actually became known, and it evolved. Everyone in that school, even the parents got involved, and they started to get to call themselves the Martians from Brandoa, which is the small place where the school was. And we'll stop sharing so I can see people. So any other questions, or just I just pass the spotlight to Luisa?
I think that while you were explaining, some of the questions have been answered. For instance, that this can be a start for a bigger project. Another thing that was asked is if the students could do this at home. For that, we have two answers. First of all, since this is a project that is ongoing and we're still working with the platform, and I'm going to show you very quickly the link to the platform and how to create the account and so on. But we need teachers to implement so that we can get these scenarios better and better each time. These scenarios have that dashboard that Carlos showed at the beginning, and that can be analyzed to see if the scenarios were created in a good way. And if we have lots of implementations, we can make the scenario better, and we can even teach the conversational agent that you saw that made the questions, that can even be taught by AI to give a better individual help to each student. We're still not there. At this moment, the scenarios were created by people only, but the idea is that we can have lots of implementations that will show what are the most parts of the scenario that are more difficult, what are the concepts, how can we help each student individually. So that's one of the aims of the project, is to give different paths for different students, because not every student knows the same thing, not every student understands the same way, and we want these scenarios to help every single student. One teacher, is very difficult for a teacher in the classroom to go and explain little details to everyone, but with these scenarios, the idea was to improve them so that each time we have implementations, we understand where the difficulties are for the students. I don't have much time to explain that part, but Michael afterwards will give you the link. You already have it on the email that you received, a link for the first webinar that explains the project, and it also explains the information that you can take from the dashboard, and that is very important. What we thought, although what I'm going to show you is also in that webinar recording, we thought that it would be nice to show you here the platform, how you can create the the account, and how you as a teacher can create groups for your students. So afterwards, if you have any doubt, you can always contact us, but you can also look at the recording and see the explanations we already had. So let me just, I'm going to copy the link that Mike has already put here, the recording. I'm going to put here the link to the...
Do you want me to put it in the chat again so people have it handy?
Maybe. Oh, but I'm already logged in, sorry.
Oh, but like if
not.
people wanted to see it while you're seeing
Yeah,
it, should I give them an access code yet, or hold off? Is that
no, hold on. Otherwise.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked rather than just doing it.
So if you put this with the login, you will get to this page, and you still don't have an account. Although when you give accounts to students, students will log in right over here. But you are teachers, you want an account as a teacher. So you are going to create an account, okay? Create an account. First name. I can use this. I can use this. Your email. I'm going to use my other email, but I already have an account. And then you have username. Username, my advice is to use the email as username, because otherwise you write here a username and you forget what was your username, and you will never end up entering the account. So I would advise you to use username as the email as username. Then you create your own password. And then you need an access code. And now, yes, Mike.
Okay,
Can you
now,
please
now
put-
the access code is in the chat.
Yes.
And just to mention about the username too, if you want us to be able to link, well, to be able to check what you've done in the platform, and I'll explain this later with the implementation challenge. But some of you might want us to be able to see how many times you've used it. In that case, you need to remember what your new username is and communicate that clearly with us. So another reason why it's probably simpler to use your email address. So yeah, username is important to keep track of.
This access code is also in the manual in the platform, but in the Discovery Space. If I go to Discovery Space, so this is the Discovery Space is the project, and over here in the resources we have the lab platform, and you can download the tutorial in English, and over here you also have the access to the code that we have shared in the chat and that I have written over here. So now you just have to create an account. Of course, I already have an account, so this isn't going to work. It's going to say email already in use, username already taken. So this won't happen to you, but it does happen to me because I already have an account with this email. So it's pretty straightforward to create an account as long as you don't forget your username. That's why we advise you to use the email. And as long as you know the access code, you can either take it now from the chat or afterwards look it up in the manual. Now, when you have already an account, you come here, you use your username. For instance, with my other email, my username is just Luisa. It's because it was created by the people from the platform. So it's not my email, but if you chose your email as username, that's what it should be written over there. I'm going to log in. And when you log in, you go immediately to the dashboard. The dashboard is where you can choose an implementation and see how it went for the students. But before going there, I'm going just to show you that in the authoring tool is where you have the scenarios. Everything that is public, you can use, and you can also make a copy for yourself. Now, when I said at the beginning that there are here two situations, the first one is that since this is an ongoing project, we need lots of implementations. So our request, and Michael will explain for the competition for the summer school, what the rules are. We are asking people not to make a copy and change what they want in their own copy, but use our public scenarios so that we have lots of implementations. The numbers are very important for us because we want to use AI to analyze the paths that the students take, and we want to improve our scenarios. You can also see that most of them at the beginning were astronomy and physics, but we are already having more scenarios that cover other subjects, namely biology and science. So this is work in progress. Things are appearing over here. You can always copy a public scenario. And there is also the part of the organizations, but I won't go into that. If you have a school with some teachers that are working together, you can create an organization and you can share the scenarios between yourselves. But usually you have access to the public ones and of course to your own private ones. And when you want to implement with students, you have to create a student group. So what we showed before was a teacher account. Okay, it's your account where you can work with the dashboard and with the scenarios. And then you have the possibility to create student groups. For instance, you want to create a new group for your class, your 10th grade class. So 10th grade 10th grade class A, I don't know, something like that. The users, it creates automatically because this is anonymous for the system. It will use the same prefix for all the users. So for instance, you can say 10A, and all the usernames will start with 10A and then a number that it creates by itself. You have like, I don't know, 25 students. It will create 25 accounts for students that they all start with 10A something. And you choose the scenario that you want to use with them. You can choose more than one or just one. For instance, we have a mission to Mars from today. I create a group. So I think it's quite easy to create a group. You can create groups for different classes, for instance, and you can have more than one scenario for the same class. But let's keep it simple. So 10th grade class A with 25 students. What I have to do, I have to download the credentials. I'm going to show. It doesn't, I have to download, I'm sorry. Just to show you how it looks. Now I'm going to use, so sorry, I'll just go back. It has created. It won't do anything. And you have to download the credentials. I'm going to put here one that was already created. Just going to hide my first column and just 1 second, I think. Okay, this is what you will get. You will get an Excel file that has a username and a password. In your case, instead of this, all of them will have 10A because that's the prefix that you chose. In this case, the prefix was EBN 2025, and it created with all these numbers and passwords. This is what you have to give to your students. You choose how you want to give it to your students. Each one will have their own username and their own password, and then they will come not here. Sorry, now I'm logged in. I'll have to log out, sign out. Okay, and students will come here and use the account that you gave them. For instance, I'll come to one of these that hasn't been used. This wasn't created now, but just as an example. These were accounts that we created in an online session with Portuguese teachers. And for this group, I gave them permission to do these scenarios. In the case that I just created, they would only have mission to Mars, nothing else. And now the student can start. It's taking a little bit, but it should start. So this is a very quick demonstration of how to create a teacher account. Remember, you need access code, and then how to create a student group so that you can give accounts for the students to implement the scenarios. And I think this is showing the first time a student tries a scenario, an account tries a scenario. you have 2 questions that the students have to answer so that we have some feedback afterwards for the project. But I can go to the scenario and then I can just start. And here I am. I don't know if there were any questions, if I was too fast, but I still have to give time to Michael.
It's me, Carlos. Just add something. If you are in the middle of the scenario and you run out of time because the class is over or whatever, you can just log out and get back in afterwards with the same username and password, and you should be taken to the exactly same place where you were. So it's something that they can go back and complete something that for some reason they weren't able to do at the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one thing that a teacher was asking is, can they go back? No, during the scenario, they can never go back to reply in a different way. The idea is that each answer they give puts them in a certain path, and they will follow that path. And if they want to do it again, if a teacher wants to give it again, the teacher has to give a different login and won't be able to see who is who. So I think I'll give Michael the word.
Thank you. And just a quick note with the logins to build on what Carlos and Luisa were saying. So when you log out and log back in, you'll often be 1 or 2 activities previous to where you'd gotten to just by how the system saves or caches itself, which if you need to skip back 1 activity, that can actually be a really handy thing to know, because if you reload the page, then you get back in, you'll be 1 or 2 steps before because that's when it last saved. And sometimes with students working through, there's something where they clicked and they really shouldn't have, and you just need to get back 1 step. But that's also why it's really useful to avoid giving multiple students the same login. Depending on how you're giving them out, if it's your own classroom, it should be easy not to confuse things. But if you have a whole bunch of people, you could have multiple people with the same, and it messes things up from the save point. So be careful with that. To finish off, I just want to say a couple of things about the upcoming webinars. I know we're just about done with time. If you have questions and you want to stay on once we end, we're happy to stay on a little bit longer. But I'll take only 1 or 2 minutes to show these last couple of things. So I'm going to share my screen to share the schedule. We should see my screen coming through now. And I just need to figure out. Okay. So webinar schedule. This is webinar number 3. We have more coming up. I'll be adding the link to this in the chat if you're interested in signing up for the ones coming up. We have ones every week until the 19th of May when we finish this webinar series, and we announce the winners of the implementation challenge. The implementation challenge, if you haven't heard of it, it's a chance to win an opportunity to go even further with Discovery Space. It's amazing how exciting the prize we have. The first prize, which up to 10 teachers might be selected for, is to have a funded trip to Marathon, Greece for our summer school. Unfortunately, because we're funded by Erasmus+, only teachers from Erasmus+ countries will be eligible to get a funded trip to Greece or a funded trip to Mulhouse, France. Teachers from anywhere, whether it's Erasmus or not, are welcome to come to these events, but you're not eligible to win a funded trip there. But you can sign up. Mulhouse, we won't charge anything for the event, but you'd be in charge of your own travel there. And third prize, personalized Discovery Space training at your school or like in your region, if you prefer it not to just be at a school level. In the chat, a number of people were saying they were interested in bringing this to their country, training more teachers on Discovery Space, which is excellent. Whether it's because you win a training at your own school or you just want to get in touch with us, we're always happy to help support more people using this. Like that's one of the reasons we're doing these webinars. So please get in touch with us. Next week's webinar, I'll be hosting that one on a scenario that I created called Zookeepers of the Galaxy. It uses the Zooniverse, the Zooniverse data set, or the Zooniverse data set of images, which is the largest citizen science initiative that's existed, and uses Google Teachable Machine to train students how to make a machine learning algorithm to identify different types of galaxies, all the while teaching them, the students, about different kinds of galaxies. So if you haven't yet registered for that one, it's coming up next week on Tuesday. I'll put the link in the chat momentarily as well as these two other links, which are the Discovery Space, Spring into Discovery Space page that has the webinar schedule, the links to register to all of them, and the mailing list, so you can be informed about the new webinars coming up, get reminders in case you might not remember to sign up for the next one. Then I'll be more than happy to send you an email. So I'll add those links to the chat, and I think that's all I had to say. So I guess because we're out of time, we probably won't have any more questions before we say goodbye. But anyone who wants to stay after, if you have more questions we didn't cover, we tried to answer most of them. I'm sure we missed some of them. So if there's any remaining questions, and if you want to take time to stay on late, we're more than happy to have you do so. The last two links I'm adding to the chat are if you want to sign up already for next week's webinar, so you don't forget to see it. And if you have any follow-up questions that we don't get to in time, or want to contact me about more training in your country, things like that, please reach out to me. I'm pretty sure Carlos and Luisa are also happy to be contacted, but I'll let them decide if they want to tell you that or not. Any final words, Luisa or Carlos?
I want to thank everyone to be here today, that we're here today, and we are happy to have you contact us and to see if you can get this to your students. I think it's a wonderful way of being able to attend students individually, and I hope you have fun with it.